All right, I'm going to walk you through Inkscape 1. So I want you to open up Inkscape and have a blank document. And then choose the circle tool on the left. And I want you to draw a sort of oval shape. So draw it like this, something like this. And then I want you to draw a circle while holding down the control key. And when you do the control key, see, it makes it more of a circle. Like you could do a weird shape, but if you go diagonally here, it definitely just makes a circle. So I want that. So the lesson there, go back to the select button, is if you hold the control key down, something will be proportional. In this case, it'll draw a perfect circle. Or even if you're resizing things, select both things and then hold the control key down. They resize while retaining their relative shapes. Otherwise, if you resize things, you can make them really crazy. So I'm going to undo, which is right here. Whoops, I'm going to undo, which is up here. There we go. All right, so that's the circle tool. Then I want you to draw a rectangle that's not a square, and then hold down the control key and you draw one that is a square. And then I show you how to resize objects. So we're on number 2 in the PDF. With the select tool chosen, you can resize something. I'm going to undo. If you do it with the control key down, it'll always stay proportional instead of getting warped. See how this is still that basic shape, as opposed to if you don't hold the control key down, you can, make things any shape. Also, if you have something selected and then you click it a second time, then you get these rotation handles. So notice, I don't mean double click. If you double click, you go back to the shape tool. You're in the rectangle tool and you have to get out of that, go back to select. So you click, wait a second, and then click a second time, and then you have the rotate tool. So it's just important to remember that's not a double click. All right, then I want to show you about zooming. If you just type the number 3 on the keyboard, it zooms to whatever's selected. So I know that was a little dramatic. If you type the number 5, then it zooms to your page. So this is like a pretend piece of paper. And so from here, if I type a 5, I'm looking at my whole piece of paper. And so I need you to always have all your work on the paper, not somewhere else. And a different day, we'll learn how to resize the paper. But right now, I want you to know about zooming. If you type a 3, it zooms to whatever's selected. A 5 zooms to the paper. And then finally, if you just hold down the control key and use the mouse wheel, you can zoom in and out wherever the mouse is. So you can just do a little bit or a lot just using the control key. There's also up here zoom tools, but I use the things I just showed you. Okay, undo is good. If you say delete something and then you want to undo, just come up here and undo and it comes back. And it's also Control Z, so you can select everything, delete, and then go, Control Z, everything comes back. Select all, Control A, select everything. That lets you move things around all at once, or if you hold down the Control key, you can resize things all at once. Select all, and a lot of these things are also in the edit menu. So down here, select all. That works from there too. You can copy things. So I'm going to do Control C, and then I'm going to do Control V, and I pasted things. It popped the copy paste over here, so I can move all those things over there. You can also copy with the right click. If you press the right mouse button, you can copy like that, and then you can paste somewhere else by clicking and saying paste. You can also duplicate something, right click, duplicate. We've done this already, but then you can drag the copy somewhere. You can also cut something if you want to get rid of it or remove it from here and then put it over here. You can Control X to cut, and then you can click somewhere else and Control V to paste, or paste it down. We're just cranking through. Now I want to go over the colors again. When you click on something, you can go to the object menu and say fill and stroke, and that brings this control window up over here. If it's not set to it, please set it to RGB. And then what you need to do is you can play with the top three, the R, the G, and the B, but please keep the A always at 100. Keep the blur always at 0 and the opacity always at 100. So don't change those. But you can change the color of something by dragging these things around. And that's absolutely fine. Our laser cutter uses red for cutting and black for engraving. So I want to get you good at those colors. So for now, I want to make sure you know 255, and then you can tab 0, 0. This is red that we need for the laser cutter. And then if you wanted to make something black, it's just 0, 0, 0. And these are the colors we use the most this year. I'm not saying you can't use other colors, but for laser engraving, I want red for cuts and black for engraving. I'm going to select all these things and get rid of them because they're in the way. I wanted to also show you the text tool again. Click on this and drag, make a rectangle, and then say, hey there. Or I think in these instructions, I say to type the month, August, and then double click on it. And let's click on this menu. If you click on it and then unclick and then click on it again, it shows you all the fonts actually in use, which is nice. Also, you can click on here and just do down arrow and then watch the fonts changing down below. I find that to be a satisfying way to do it. Go back to the select tool and let's resize August. And notice I didn't use the control key so I can really warp it, but let's resize it with the control key and you can make it as big as the page if you want. All right. And then all that, folks, all that was practice. So now we're on the last page of the PDF, and I say, start with an empty document. So you can either select all and delete, or you can just make a new document. But I'm going to select all and delete. And I ask you to create an oval shape and make sure it's filled black. Great, it is. Then I want you to make a perfect circle to the right. Oh, go back to the circle tool. I guess I got off there. Make a perfect circle, holding down the control key. We want to set it to be red, so that's 255. Okay, and then I want you to duplicate it, Control D, move the copy over here, and then holding down the control key, make it a little bigger, and then duplicate it again, and using the control, make it a little bigger. I want 5 circles altogether. Duplicate it again, make the control key a little bigger, duplicate it one more time, and using the control key, make it bigger. So now we have an oval that's black, 5 yellow circles that get bigger going to the right. Now, if you ran out of room, like let's say your thing was like this, just do a select all, hold down the control key, and make it small enough to fit. That kept everything proportional. I want to see a black oval and then a series of red perfect circles. Why don't you at this point save your work? So save and call your document your name, first and last, and then Inkscape 1. And go to the desktop and save it. Okay, so now I want you to make a rectangle that's not a square. So something like this would be great. Go back to the select tool. It's already red. I asked you to make it red, but it already is because the last thing we drew was red. Now I want you to duplicate it. And so Control D, duplicate. Now I'm going to click on the copy and I'm going to rotate it. And I'm going to duplicate it again. And the copy is just sitting on top. So I'm going to rotate it again, duplicate. And I want there to be 5 rectangles and sort of in the shape of a flower. So there we go. And then I ask you to draw draw a perfect square. So there it is. We're going to make this black. So remember, black is 0 instead of 255. And then I want you to do the text tool and type your name, select all, click on here, and set the font to something fun. select all. I guess clicking up here so I can change the font until I find something that I am liking at this moment. Go back to the select tool, hold down the control key, make this nice and big all the way across, and save again. Save, and then close, and then turn it in. You're done. A lot of people turn it in and then look at it in the Google Classroom, and it says, and the fonts look funny. And you don't have to worry about that because the Chrome browser is not Inkscape, and it doesn't fully understand how to display Inkscape's work. So I'll be looking at your projects inside Inkscape. So don't worry, I'll be seeing them the way they're supposed to look. Okay, I hope this video helped. And I'll